Hello, I'm Jeff Cavins, and today we're looking at the readings for the 15th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Very, very popular reading, and that is the reading of the Good Samaritan. In today's reading, it starts off and says, "Behold, a lawyer stood up," and that lawyer was going to put Jesus to the test, and he's going to ask a question. He says, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" And he said to him, "What is written in the law? What do you read there?" And the man answered, the typical answer. He said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your strength and with all of your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have answered right. Do this and you will live." But he, desiring to justify himself, said to Jesus, "And who's my neighbor?" And so Jesus goes into a parable about the Good Samaritan to show who the neighbor is. And we'll find out here that when you walk as the neighbor, it is a very powerful thing, and it can change people's lives. Let me preface this by saying that Samaritans had nothing to do with anybody in Jerusalem that was involved in temple worship, and that would be the priests, and that would be the Levites. They were totally on different pages. In fact, in the Old Testament, they split, and in Jesus' day, they would never go into the area of Samaria. So it's the unlikely guy that becomes the hero and the one who brings healing to the man who was caught and beat up by robbers. And so the story goes, it goes on and it says, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. It's a very dangerous road. I've been there many times. He fell among the robbers who stripped him, beat him, departed, leaving him half dead. And now by chance, a priest was going down that road, one of the likely helpers, and when he saw him, he passed by the other side. So likewise, a Levite, someone who serves in the temple and a teacher, when he came to the place and saw him, he passed on the other side as well. But a Samaritan, unlikely guy, the one that nobody would have picked to help this man, as he was journeying, he came to where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. And he went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and then he set him on his own beast and brought him to an inn, took care of him. Even the next day left money in case more was needed to take care of the guy. And at the end of that parable, Jesus asks the question. He says, "Which of these three do you think proved to be a neighbor to the man?" And the answer was obvious. The answer was the one who showed mercy. And Jesus said to him, "Go and you do likewise." You become that neighbor. A few years ago, I heard a story from a Dominican priest in Chicago who told a lovely story. He used to go to Calcutta every year. Well, he was done teaching in Calcutta, and he was going back to his room, and he got back to his room. The window was open. He heard the hustle and bustle outdoors, but suddenly there was this amazing stench coming into his room, and he thought, "What is that?" And he went over to the window to shut the window, and as he looked out the window, he saw this man laying outside of his window with a wound in his side that maggots had infested. And he was in agony, and he was moaning, and the stench was unbearable. He closed the window, and he went back and sat on his bed. And he thought about the fact that he didn't want to go out there and do anything about it because, and he was honest, he said, "I didn't want my habit to smell. I didn't want it to get stained." So he sat in his room, and then a few minutes later, he heard a woman's voice outside the window. And he went over to the window, and he could hear, with the window just parted a little bit, he could hear the voice of an elderly lady arguing with a younger lady. The younger lady said, "Mother, I will do it myself." And the older lady, who was Mother Teresa, said, "No, I must. I must help the man." And the woman said, "But you're tired. You go inside. I will take care of it." But Mother said, "No, I will help him." And the Dominican priest saw Mother Teresa bend down and pick this man up with his wounds and roll him into her habit. And at that point, he broke. And he went down to his bed on his knees, and he began to cry, and he said, "God, what is wrong with me? How come I'm not willing to touch those who are sick, those who are ill, those who are diseased, and yet you touched my life?" And he said that moment, his life changed. And that Dominican priest, his life changed forever because he saw one person, Mother Teresa, acting as the Good Samaritan, the neighbor. It wasn't that hard of a thing to do, really, was it? If you think about it, Mother Teresa won the Nobel Peace Prize for doing what? What Moses said about this very command in today's readings in Deuteronomy 30. He said, "For this command that I enjoin on you today, it's not too mysterious and remote for you. It's not up in the sky that you should say, 'Who will go up in the sky to get it for us and tell us of it that we may carry it out?' Nor is it across the sea that you should say, 'Who will cross the sea to get it for us and tell us of it that we may carry it out?' No, it is something very near to you, already in your mouths and in your hearts. You only have to carry it out." My friend, this week, you're the Good Samaritan. You're the good neighbor. It's not too difficult. The situations that will come up before you this week are not too difficult, not in the sky, not across the sea. It's in your mouth, it's in your heart. It's not difficult. Be that Good Samaritan this week. God bless you.